But I am equally profoundly proud today to stand here to complete a project I started in 2013, 2014, when I was the Minister for Energy. I think Eddie waited for me for that long to come and finish this project, and I don't know what happened to those 10 years while I was away. But granted, we are going to work together, we're going to cooperate to finish this. Your Excellency, Kenya is the hub today, and particularly Nakuru, of green energy. Like my peers, Alex Washira did say, I've just come back from France, attending an international energy agency where Kenya was nominated to host the 9th International Energy Agency Conference. We'll be hosting in 2 weeks Africa Energy Conference. In September, we are hosting the Climate Change Conference because of all the great things Kenya is doing through the support of the green energy here in Nakuru. So congratulations, Susan. I want to congratulate British High Commissioner Jane Marriott for her relentless effort to see this project to an end. Your Excellency, it went to the extent of, like she said, the British Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, meeting our President, His Excellency, the President William Ruto, in the sideline of our climate change conference in Samal Sheikh. I was in that very brief meeting to push this project. We don't need to use leadership to push projects like this. We need to take them to a quickly conclusion and support our Kenyans and give them clean energy, affordable, but more importantly, competitive energy to power our energy parks, so that the global farms can be resident again in Nakuru, where they can make use of direct steam and use power which does not have to be transmitted at an additional whaling charge, but more importantly, keep our country competitive, have the global farms to take advantage of cost advantage, distance advantage, because we now brought the standard gauge railway to Naivasha, and employ our people. So, Your Excellency, let me just congratulate Jane Marriott, let me congratulate the full team of CLOBLEC, the lead funders in Africa Development Bank, TDB, who, you know, Your Excellency, are also helping us on the G2G petroleum products, and of course the FinFund and the rest of the financial partners who are doing the 70% debt side of this project. I want to confirm, Your Excellency, that as the leader in the energy sector trusted to basically support government, we'll work to bring down the cost of energy. We'll work to confirm that Kenya will be fully compliant with our commitment to be 100% green by 2030. And so we'll work together to ensure that we develop our natural resources, 10,000 geothermal potential, the vast solar and the vast wind potential of Kenya. We will work together. CLOBLEC has got another 40 megawatts of Malindi in a place called Weru, and we'll continue to work together even for what you have asked us to facilitate in terms of generating more energy.
During my time here in Kenya, I'm delighted to say that the relationship has gone from strength to strength between the UK and Kenya. The strategic partnership that we launched in 2020 was turbocharged by President Ruto and Prime Minister Sunak when they met in November in the margins of COP27, the climate summit. And at that meeting, they agreed to fast-track a package of new UK green investments in Kenya worth 500 billion shillings, including this Menengai geothermal project we're here to celebrate today. It's a landmark agreement that builds on the UK's long history as the largest investor in Kenya, with over 250,000 Kenyans employed by UK firms. And it's also an important signal to the world that countries don't have to choose between economic growth and leading on climate change. And we see here today that you can do those two things simultaneously, attracting private investment that countries need to create jobs, including in the community here. When leaders gather in September in Nairobi at the Africa Climate Summit, I hope they will see the example that Kenya is setting for the world and follow Kenya's lead in attracting new investment through a commitment to green economic development. The amazing achievement of over 92% clean energy has, of course, been at the heart of Kenya's climate leadership and her partnership with the UK, because it was my predecessor's predecessor in 1981 who stood just round the corner here with BII, British International Investment, then known as CDC, to help finance the very first geothermal plants here in Kenya. So this is a long partnership that we started that journey with you, and we continue that journey with you. Along the way, we financed a range of other clean energy facilities over the last 40 years, including Eldersol and Radiant Solar in Uasin Gishu and Malindi Solar in Kilifi. As the largest independent power producer in Africa and BII's most significant partner in the clean energy space, Globelec, who you've just heard from, their CEO, has been a massive part of that story and partnership. And Globelec begins construction of this clean energy plant here today, hopefully with financial close in the next, not a fortnight, let's give you a couple of days. We can do this by next week, I think, to provide more cheap, reliable baseload power needed for Kenya's economic transformation and to benefit the Kenyan people. This plant will both advance Kenya's global leadership on climate change, but it will also bring down the cost of power, showing that green growth is good for business and good for the people of Kenya under the leadership of President Ruto and Deputy President Gachagua. I'm particularly pleased that we're working with our Japanese colleagues, a collaboration between our businesses together to combine their expertise on world-leading green infrastructure, delivering this without unsustainable debt. When the UK hosted G7 leaders in Carbis Bay 2 years ago, they committed to build a new global partnership for infrastructure, that investment would be honest and reliable and would be the finance that developing countries need. It would not add to Kenya's debt burden. So as I depart Kenya at the end of this week, I know I leave a country that has got an incredibly bright future and a partnership with a country that stands with Kenya and supports and celebrates Kenya's success for the Kenyan people. Asanteni sana.
A lot of discussions about CSR initiatives and what Globalec's obligation should be. We will become part of the community. You know, we are making a commitment here. When we break ground and make an investment, we will be here for decades to come. We'll be part of the community in Nakuru and Menengai. In terms of CSR, you know, our approach is always to start with listening to the community, to what is important. And I have to say, I didn't come prepared to speak about projects today, but I have been prompted. So there's a Karima Kiran-Gotgoch Rongi water project that we're currently investigating, and also a Jacaranda school where there's some needs that we're looking into. So, as I say, what will happen over time is we'll sit down with community leaders, look at the needs, assess them, work with local political figures, and figure out what needs to be done. I don't want to come in and make lots of brash promises, because what we want to do is listen to what's needed and then work with the community to deliver those.